Welcome, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're going deep into the world of information networks.
Ooh, information network.
And get this. We're going to explore how these networks have shaped human history, from, ancient campfires to, well, maybe even the rise of AI.
Wow.
So buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a wild ride.
It is, yeah.
We'll be drawing insights primarily from Yuval Noah Harari's book, Nexus. Have you read that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nexus is a fascinating exploration of how information has shaped human societies.
Yeah, and it's dense, but it's full of really mind-blowing ideas.
It really is.
Okay, so to kick things off, I think it's important to clarify what we mean by information networks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to think of information as just facts, like something out of an encyclopedia.
Right, just like data points.
But Harari, he really pushes us to see it differently. He argues that the real power of information comes from its ability to connect us.
To connect us.
Yeah, to create those networks that that kind of transcend individual minds.
So it's not just about the content of the information, it's about the relationships and the connections it creates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. Imagine you have two pieces of information.
Okay, two pieces of information.
One is like a scientifically accurate description of the solar system.
Oh, got it.
The other is the story of Icarus, who flew too close to the sun.
Oh, yeah.
And plummeted to his doom.
Yeah.
Now, which one is more likely to, shape human behavior?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Inspire caution or wonder to be, passed down through generations.
I see what you're getting at. The Icarus story, even though it's not factually accurate, it has a power, an emotional resonance
Right.
that the scientific description kind of lacks.
It does.
It connects with us emotionally, and it carries a deeper message about, human ambition and the consequences of overreaching.
Precisely. And that's because the story of Icarus, even though it's, it's a myth,
Right.
it creates what Harari calls an intersubjective reality.
An intersubjective reality.
It exists not in the physical world, but in the shared imagination of those who believe in it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this intersubjective reality idea connects to the power of information networks.
Yep.
But can you give me a real-world example of this in action?
Sure. Let's take the Bible.
Okay, the Bible.
It's a collection of texts written over centuries,
Right.
containing, historical inaccuracies and inconsistencies.
Yeah, for sure.
But it has bound billions of people together into religious networks.
Right.
Shaping laws, cultures, entire civilizations. Why?
Right.
Because it offers a shared story, a set of values, and a sense of belonging.
Right.
That transcends individual interpretations.
So even if some details might be debated, the overarching narrative,
Yeah.
the shared belief system is what truly connects people.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. But how does this relate to us as a species, as Homo sapiens?
This ability to weave stories, to create these intersubjective realities is what sets us apart from other animals.
Oh, he does.
It's what allows us to cooperate flexibly
Yeah.
in large numbers.
Okay.
Chimpanzees, for example, they share many of our basic needs and desires,
Right.
but they can't form large-scale societies,
Right.
because they lack that ability to create these shared stories,
Right.
these myths, if you will,
The things that bind us together.
that bind us together. Exactly.
So our ability to create and believe in stories, to build these intersubjective realities, that's what allows us to create complex civilizations,
Yeah.
religions, political systems.
Exactly. Now imagine what happens when a new technology comes along.
Okay.
That fundamentally changes the way we store, transmit, and access information.
Right.
Think about the invention of writing.
Okay, writing. That's a huge one. I can already see how that would revolutionize information networks, but I'm guessing it wasn't all smooth sailing.
You're right, it wasn't. Imagine yourself as a scribe in ancient Ur,
Oh, wow.
one of the first cities to adopt writing. Suddenly, instead of relying on memory and oral traditions, you're tasked with recording everything.
Everything.
Tax records, inventories, legal contracts, even royal decrees.
Wow.
The amount of information explodes.
It does, yeah.
But now you face a new problem.
Mm.
How do you organize and retrieve all this information?
That's a great point. It's like having a million files on your computer with no way to search for them.
Exactly.
Say, like drowning in information but can't access what you need.
Exactly. And that's what led to the rise of bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy.
Harari argues that bureaucracy at its core is an information retrieval system.
Interesting.
It categorizes and divides information to make it manageable,
Right.
creating these hierarchies, these systems of organization that we still see today.
So bureaucracy is a direct consequence of our need to manage the ever-growing amount of information we create.
Precisely. But this divide and rule approach,
Right.
while necessary for organization,
Yeah.
it also creates its own set of problems. It can lead to siloed thinking,
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
where different departments or disciplines become so specialized
Right.
that they lose sight of the bigger picture.
That makes sense. It's like the old saying, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Exactly.
If you're like hyper-focused on one area of knowledge, you might miss important connections and insights from other fields.
Exactly. Think about how universities are structured.
Okay, universities, yeah.
You have separate faculties for history, biology, economics, and so on.
Right, right.
This division allows for specialization, but it can also hinder our ability to understand complex issues
Right.
that transcend disciplinary boundaries, like climate change or pandemics.
That's a really thought-provoking point. It suggests that the way we organize information can actually, like, shape how we think and solve problems.
And it could also shape who holds power. Remember, bureaucracies rely on documents, procedures, and chains of command.
Right.
Those who control those systems hold immense influence.
Okay, so information control becomes a major factor in shaping power dynamics within bureaucracies.
It does.
Can you give me a historical example of this in action?
Sure. Let's take the story of Romania in the 1930s.
Okay, Romania in the 1930s.
The government used manipulated statistics and poetic narratives to claim that hundreds of thousands of Jews were illegal immigrants.
Wow.
This allowed them to strip these citizens of their rights
Mm,
and ultimately pave the way for their deportation and extermination.
that's,
It's a chilling example of how those in power can manipulate information
right,
to serve their own agendas,
right.
even leading to, horrific consequences.
That is a chilling reminder of how important it is to be, like, critical of the information we receive.
Yeah.
And to be aware of the potential for manipulation, especially by those in power. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about another powerful institution that has shaped information networks throughout history. Religion.
Religions have always grappled with this challenge of, human fallibility,
Right.
the risk of misinterpreting divine messages
Yeah.
or corrupting sacred traditions. They've developed various mechanisms to address this,
Okay.
some more successful than others.
So how did, like, early religions try to establish authority and ensure the accurate transmission of their beliefs?
Think about the Oracle of Delphi.
Oh, yeah. The Oracle of Delphi.
In ancient Greece,
Okay.
it was shrouded in mystery and ritual, with pronouncements delivered through a priestess in a trance-like state.
Right.
This created an aura of divine authority,
Right.
bypassing the potential for human error or manipulation.
So it was about creating a sense of, like, awe and mystery,
Yeah.
elevating the message above the human messenger.
Exactly. But this approach still relied on human interpretation.
Right.
The priests who conveyed the oracle's pronouncements, they held immense power, and their interpretations could be influenced by political or personal biases.
That makes sense. It seems like every system designed to control information ultimately faces the challenge of human fallibility.
It does.
So how did religions try to, like, address this inherent flaw?
One approach was the development of holy books,
Okay, holy books.
seen as a direct conduit to divine truth,
Right,
free from human error.
right.
The Ten Commandments, for example,
The Ten Commandments.
are presented as a clear and unchanging set of rules directly from a divine source.
So the idea was that by, like, codifying beliefs in a written text,
Yeah.
you could create a more stable and authoritative source of truth.
And that was the hope.
Okay.
But even holy books are not immune to interpretation and manipulation.
Right. I can imagine. After all, people have been debating the meaning and interpretation of religious texts for centuries.
Exactly. Look at the Dead Sea Scrolls,
Okay, the Dead Sea
a collection of Jewish texts discovered in the 1940s.
Okay.
They contain different versions of biblical stories, highlighting the variations and evolving interpretations that existed even within what we consider sacred texts.
So even with a holy book, the human element, the act of interpretation and transmission, inevitably shapes how beliefs are understood and practiced.
Precisely. And this is evident in both Judaism and Christianity.
Okay.
The Jewish Talmud, a collection of rabbinical commentaries on the Torah,
Right.
became more influential than the Torah itself.
Wow.
Similarly, the Christian Bible, assembled centuries after Jesus,
Right.
reflects the choices and interpretations of those who compiled it.
It seems like the quest for like an infallible source of truth,
Yeah.
free from human error, is a bit of a paradox. Every attempt to codify belief systems
Right.
creates new layers of interpretation,
It does.
new opportunities for debate and disagreement.
That's a keen observation.
Yeah.
And this tension becomes even more pronounced with the invention of the printing press.
The printing press, okay.
It democratizes knowledge. It allows for the mass production of texts,
Right.
but also opens the floodgates to misinformation and propaganda.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
It is, yeah.
I see the parallel to today's world with the internet and social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have access to like more information than ever before, but
Yeah.
it's also harder than ever to discern truth from falsehood.
Exactly. The same patterns emerge throughout history.
Yeah.
The struggle for control of information,
Right.
the tension between authority and interpretation,
Yeah.
the challenges of navigating information overload.
That's a lot.
It is.
This raises a really important question. How do we understand the dynamics of power and information control
Yeah.
in the context of political systems like democracy and dictatorship?
That's where things get even more interesting. Imagine viewing democracy and dictatorship as contrasting information networks.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How so?
A dictatorship is like a centralized network, right, with information flowing from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
The leader controls the narrative,
Right.
and dissent is suppressed.
So it's like a one-way street
Yeah, exactly.
with information flowing from the dictator to the people, but not the other way around.
Exactly. In contrast, a democracy is more like a distributed network
Okay.
with information flowing freely between citizens, institutions, and the government.
So it's a multi-directional flow of information
It is.
with multiple voices and perspectives being heard.
You got it. And the evolution of democracy has always been intertwined with the evolution of information technology.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the challenges of maintaining a democracy
Okay.
in a large and diverse population.
Right, because you need a way to communicate effectively with like millions of people spread across vast distances.
Yeah.
And you need to ensure that all those voices can be heard and represented.
Precisely. That's where the rise of mass media played a crucial role.
Mass media, okay.
Take the 1960 Kennedy-Nixon debates.
Okay.
The first televised presidential debates. Millions of Americans could suddenly witness their candidates debating in real time.
That must have been like a game changer. It brought political discourse into people's living rooms,
It did.
making it more like accessible and engaging.
Exactly. It was a defining moment for large-scale democracy,
Wow.
showing how technology could facilitate political participation
Yeah. Yeah.
and create a more informed electorate.
But I'm guessing that technology like always is a double-edged sword.
Oh, for sure.
What happens when these powerful tools for communication and information dissemination
Yeah.
fall into the wrong hands?
That's a crucial question. And it leads us to the rise of totalitarianism
Okay.
in the 20th century.
The 20th century, right?
While technologies like the radio initially facilitated democratic participation,
Right.
they also enabled the rise of regimes like Nazi Germany
Right.
and the Soviet Union,
So we're talking about like the dark side of information control. We are.
where technology is used not to empower citizens,
Right.
but to suppress dissent and maintain absolute power.
Exactly. Think of the Soviet Union under Stalin. They used a vast network of surveillance, propaganda, and terror to control information and squash any opposition.
This is where like those chilling stories about the KGB and secret police come in,
Exactly.
where people were like afraid to even whisper their true thoughts for fear of being overheard and reported.
You've got it. And technology played a key role in enabling this level of control.
it's a stark reminder that the tools we create can be used for both good and evil.
They can, yeah.
So where does the computer network fit into all of this? It seems like we're on the cusp of another major shift
We are.
in how information is controlled and disseminated.
The computer network is not just another step in the evolution of information technology. It's a fundamental shift in the nature of the network itself.
For the first time, we're dealing with a network that's not just about transmitting information.
Right.
It's about processing information,
Okay.
making decisions,
Uh-huh.
and even shaping our desires and beliefs.
That's a pretty radical shift. We're not just talking about computers as tools anymore, but as like active participants in the information network.
Exactly.
Potentially even rivals for control and influence.
Precisely. And that's where things start to get really interesting
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit scary.
Okay. I'm officially on the edge of my seat. Let's dive deeper into this new era of the computer network and explore what it means for the future of humanity.
Let's do it. We'll explore the implications of algorithms, artificial intelligence, and the potential for both unprecedented progress and dystopian control.
Sounds like we're in for quite a ride. This is going to be fascinating.
We were just talking about how the computer network represents a fundamental shift, not just in how we transmit information,
Right.
but in how it's processed,
Right.
and even how it shapes our desires.
Right.
One of the key things that sets the computer network apart
Yeah.
is the sheer scale and speed at which it operates.
Right. We're no longer limited by like the physical constraints of, paper documents or
Yeah.
the time it takes for humans to process information. It's like
Yeah.
everything's been sped up and amplified 1,000-fold.
Imagine the implications for surveillance.
Okay.
In the past, a dictator might have relied on a network of spies and informants.
Right.
It was a labor-intensive and ultimately limited system.
Right.
But now with the computer network, surveillance can be automated.
Right.
And ubiquitous, we leave digital trails everywhere we go.
We do.
And that data can be collected, analyzed, and used to track our movements,
Wow.
predict our behavior,
Okay.
even manipulate our thoughts.
It's like that saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product.
Exactly.
We're constantly generating data with every click, every search, every interaction online.
Yeah.
And that data is being used to create these like incredibly detailed profiles of who we are.
Precisely. And those profiles can be used for all sorts of purposes.
Right.
Some benign, some not so much.
Right.
It's not just governments anymore.
Right.
Corporations are collecting vast amounts of data on our purchasing habits,
Mm-hmm.
our browsing history,
Right.
even our social media interactions.
It's starting to feel a bit like that Black Mirror episode,
Which one?
Nosedive.
Oh, yeah.
Where like your social standing is determined by your online rating.
Right.
Except it's not just a dystopian fantasy anymore.
It's not.
It's starting to feel a bit too real.
That episode is a great example of how seemingly benign systems
Yeah.
can be used for social engineering.
Right.
And with the rise of social credit systems in countries like China,
Yeah.
it's not just about online reputation anymore. It's about real-world consequences.
I've heard about these social credit systems, but to be honest, they kind of freak me out.
Yeah.
Can you explain how they work and what the implications are?
Imagine a system where your every action online and offline is monitored and evaluated.
Okay.
Jaywalk.
Mm-hmm.
Points deducted. Donate to charity.
Oh.
Points added.
Okay.
Criticize the government online.
Oh.
Major points deducted.
Yikes.
This score then determines your access to loans,
Wow.
jobs, travel permits,
Really?
even social services.
So it's like a gamified version of citizenship where you're constantly being judged
It is, yeah.
and rewarded or punished
Yeah.
based on your behavior.
It raises a lot of questions
Yeah.
about freedom, privacy, and the potential for abuse. And the scary thing is the technology to implement such a system already exists.
This is where the conversation about the computer network
Yeah.
gets really unsettling.
It does.
But it's important to have these conversations, right?
Absolutely.
To understand the potential risks and to push back against systems that
Yeah.
threaten our freedoms.
Awareness is the first step.
Right.
We need to understand how these technologies work.
Uh-huh.
and the potential ways they can be used,
Right.
both for good and for bad.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for increased surveillance and social control through the computer network.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about some of the potential benefits.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming there are some, right?
There are.
Okay.
AI has the potential to revolutionize countless fields,
Okay.
from medicine and education
Mm-hmm.
to transportation and energy production.
Right.
It could help us solve some of the world's most pressing problems,
Yeah.
like climate change and global poverty.
That's a much-needed dose of optimism.
It is.
But how do we harness the power of AI for good while mitigating the risks
Right.
we've been discussing? It feels like a delicate balancing act.
It is. It requires a multifaceted approach involving collaboration
Okay.
between governments, researchers, and the tech industry itself.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Okay.
We need to develop robust regulations,
Uh-huh.
ethical guidelines,
Okay.
and strong self-correcting mechanisms
Right.
to ensure that AI is used responsibly
Right.
and benefits all of humanity.
It sounds like a monumental task.
It is a big one.
But it's also an incredible opportunity, right? To
It
be
is.
like at the forefront of this technological revolution,
Yep.
and to have a role in shaping its trajectory.
It is. We're at a pivotal moment in human history,
We are.
and it's up to us to ensure that this new chapter
Yeah.
is one of progress,
You're right.
not regression.
But where do we even begin? What are some concrete steps we can take as individuals to ensure that AI is used ethically and benefits society as a whole?
One of the most important things we can do is to stay informed.
Okay.
We need to understand how AI works,
Right.
its potential benefits and risks,
Yeah.
and the ways in which it is already impacting our lives.
Right.
This will help us make informed choices as consumers, voters,
Right.
and citizens.
So reading books like Nexus is a good start.
It is. It is.
But it's not just about reading, right? It's about having these conversations,
It is.
sharing what we learn with others,
Yeah.
and demanding transparency and accountability
Yeah.
from those who are developing and deploying these powerful technologies.
Exactly. And it's about supporting policies
Okay.
that promote ethical AI development
Yeah.
and protect our fundamental rights and freedoms
Right.
in the digital age.
So it's about being informed, engaged citizens and advocating for the future we want. But it's not just about what we do individually, right? It's about the collective choices we make
It is.
as a society.
You got it. The future of AI is not predetermined.
Okay.
It's being shaped right now
It is.
by the decisions we make,
Right.
the conversations we have,
Right.
and the actions we take.
And the more informed and engaged we are,
Yeah.
the better our chances of creating a future where AI serves humanity,
Exactly.
not the other way around.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
It feels like we're at a crossroads
It does.
where the choices we make today will have a profound impact on the future of humanity.
It's a heavy responsibility,
It is.
but also an incredible opportunity.
It is. We have the chance to shape the course of history,
Right.
to ensure that this new chapter
Yeah.
is one of progress, not regression.
So let's dive a little deeper into the specific challenges and opportunities presented by AI.
Okay.
And how we can work together to create a more equitable and just future for all. Earlier, we touched upon this idea of the Silicon Curtain
We did.
and the potential for AI to reshape the global order.
Right. This idea that the concentration of data and algorithmic power
Right.
could lead to the rise of a new global empire, or perhaps a fractured world divided by competing AI superpowers.
Right.
And this is where the historical parallels with previous technological revolutions
Yeah.
become really interesting.
I see what you mean, and think about the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
Led to unprecedented economic growth
It did.
and technological innovation, but
Yeah.
also to colonialism,
Yeah.
inequality, and global conflict. Are we heading towards a similar scenario with AI.
It's a real possibility.
Yeah.
That we need to be actively working to prevent.
Right.
And one of the key challenges is that the development and deployment of AI is currently concentrated in a handful of countries and corporations.
Okay.
We need to find ways to democratize access to the technology and ensure that developing countries are not left behind.
It's almost like we need a global AI Marshall Plan, right? Investing in education, infrastructure, and research in developing countries to bridge the digital divide.
Yes.
And ensure that everyone has the opportunity to participate in this technological revolution.
That's a great analogy.
We need to think about how we can empower all nations to benefit from the potential of AI, not just a select few. And it's not just about nations. It's about ensuring that AI benefits all segments of society.
Absolutely.
Regardless of race, gender, or socioeconomic status. If we're not careful, AI could end up exacerbating existing inequalities, creating a world where the rich and powerful get richer and more powerful, while the poor and marginalized are left further behind.
You're absolutely right. And this is where those ethical considerations we keep coming back to are so important.
They are.
We need to ensure that AI systems are designed and implemented in a way that is fair, unbiased, and benefits all of humanity.
So we're talking about things like algorithmic audits, bias detection tools, and really embedding ethical considerations into every stage of the AI development process, from design to deployment.
Exactly. It's not just about technical solutions.
Right.
It's about shifting the culture within the tech industry itself.
Right.
We need to move beyond the move fast and break things mentality.
Right.
And really prioritize ethical considerations from the very beginning.
It sounds like we're talking about a pretty fundamental shift in mindset.
It is.
From prioritizing profit and innovation at all costs to prioritizing human well-being and social responsibility.
That's exactly it. And it's not going to be easy.
Right.
But it's essential if we want to create a future where AI is truly a force for good in the world.
This is all pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
But it's also incredibly important.
It is, yeah.
Because we're not just talking about the future of technology. We're talking about the future of humanity.
We are. And the future is not preordained. It's being shaped right now.
It is.
By the decisions we make and the actions we take.
So let's shift gears a bit and delve into another fascinating aspect of AI that Harari touches on in Nexus. The potential impact on our very understanding of identity. It's a topic that I think often gets overlooked.
It does.
In these discussions, but it's incredibly relevant.
It is.
To the questions we've been exploring.
It really is, and it raises some profound and challenging questions about what it means to be human. Right. In an age of increasingly intelligent machines.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I'm already feeling a bit mind blown by everything we've been discussing.
I bet.
So I'm ready to see where this takes us.
Well, Harari points out that our understanding of identity has historically been very much tied to our physical bodies.
Right.
We define ourselves by our gender, our race, our physical abilities, even our genetic makeup.
Right.
But what happens when technology starts to blur those lines?
That's such a great point. We're already seeing this happening with things like prosthetics, genetic engineering, and virtual reality.
Right.
These technologies are making us question what it means to have a body.
Yeah.
What limitations are truly fixed, and which ones we can overcome with technology.
Exactly. And with the rise of AI, we're starting to see the emergence of digital entities that are capable of learning, adapting, and even expressing emotions. It's making us wonder if consciousness is something unique to biological beings, or if it could emerge in other forms like AI.
That's a pretty mind-bending thought. Are we talking about a future where AI could have the same rights
That's a good question.
And recognition.
Yeah,
where we might even develop relationships with AI entities that we consider to be friends.
That's possible.
Partners, or even family members.
Those are questions we're going to have to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Right.
And integrated into our lives.
Right.
And it's not just about AI being like us.
Right.
It's about how AI might change our understanding of what it means to be human.
So we're not just talking about AI as a tool.
We're not.
We're talking about AI as something that could fundamentally alter our understanding of ourselves.
It could, yeah.
And our place in the world.
Precisely. It has profound implications for everything from ethics and law to religion and philosophy.
This is getting deep.
It is.
But it's also incredibly fascinating because it's forcing us to confront some of the biggest questions about human existence in a way that we've never had to before.
It's a conversation we need to have because the answers will shape the future of humanity in very profound ways.
So let's explore some of those questions in more detail because I'm eager to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
For example, how might AI change our understanding of the relationship between the mind and the body?
Well, one of the key questions is whether consciousness is something that is inherently tied to our physical bodies, or if it's something that could exist independently in a digital form.
Right. We tend to think of our minds and bodies as being inextricably linked.
Yeah.
But what if AI shows us that that consciousness can exist without a physical form?
That would be a paradigm shift.
It would.
In our understanding of what it means to be human, it would raise all sorts of questions about the nature of consciousness,
right? The
soul, and even the afterlife.
Wow, we're getting really philosophical here. But I think it's important to have these conversations. They're going to become increasingly relevant.
They are.
As AI becomes more advanced.
They are. And it's not just about philosophical questions. It's about practical considerations as well.
Yeah.
If we develop AI systems capable of experiencing emotions, do they deserve the same ethical considerations as humans?
That's a big question.
It is.
I don't think there are any easy answers.
No.
But I think it's important to start having these conversations now before we reach a point where the technology is so advanced that it forces our hand.
I agree. And it's not just about AI becoming like us.
Okay.
It's about how AI might change our understanding of what it means to be human, for example.
Okay.
If we can create AI systems that are more intelligent than us, more creative than us, even more compassionate than us.
Okay.
How will that impact our sense of self-worth?
That's a really interesting question because we tend to think of ourselves as being at the pinnacle of creation.
We do.
But what if AI shows us that we're not? What if it challenges our assumptions about human exceptionalism?
That could be a very humbling experience.
Yeah.
But it could also be an opportunity for growth and self-discovery.
So rather than fearing AI, we should see it as a chance to learn more about ourselves and to expand our understanding of what's possible.
Exactly. AI is not just a tool.
It's not.
It's a mirror. It reflects back to us.
Oh, wow.
Our own hopes, fears, and aspirations.
That's beautiful.
And by studying AI, we can learn a lot about ourselves and what it means to be human.
That's such a thought-provoking way of thinking about AI. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the questions it raises about our own nature and our place in the universe.
And it's about the choices we make.
Yeah.
In how we develop and use AI. We have the power to shape the future of this technology, and to ensure that it's used for good, not for harm.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for AI to reshape the global order.
Yes.
And our understanding of identity.
We have.
Now, let's zoom in a bit and talk about some of the specific ways in which AI is already impacting our lives, both for better and for worse.
A good place to start is the labor market.
Okay, the labor market. Because
AI and automation are already having a significant impact on jobs in the economy.
Right. We're seeing AI systems taking over tasks that were previously done by humans, from driving trucks to writing news articles.
That's true.
And this is leading to a lot of anxiety about job displacement and the future of work.
It's a valid concern.
It is.
And it's a challenge that we need to address proactively.
Okay, so how do we do that?
We need to invest in education and retraining programs to help workers adapt to the changing demands of the job market.
Right.
And we need to be thinking about new economic models that can ensure that everyone benefits from the increased productivity and efficiency that AI brings.
So we're talking about things like a universal basic income,
that's possible,
shorter work weeks, and a greater emphasis on creativity and social skills as the things that differentiate us from machines.
Exactly. We need to be creative and innovative in our thinking about the future of work.
Right.
And we need to ensure that the benefits of AI are shared broadly, not just concentrated in the hands of a few.
And it's not just about the economic impact.
It's not.
It's about the social and psychological impact of AI as well.
It is.
Because if people lose their jobs to robots, it can impact their sense of purpose, their self-worth, and their social standing.
Absolutely. And this is where those ethical considerations we've been talking about become so important. We need to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a way that benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
It seems like a recurring theme in this conversation is that it's not just about the technology itself; it's about the human values.
It is,
that guide its development and use.
You're exactly right, and it's about recognizing that AI is not a neutral force.
It's not.
It's shaped by the biases and assumptions of its creators.
That's a crucial point.
It is.
Because if we're not careful, AI could end up reinforcing existing inequalities and prejudices.
It could.
We need to be mindful of the potential for bias in algorithms.
Yes.
And to work towards creating AI systems that are fair, just, and equitable.
Absolutely. And it's not just about preventing harm.
Okay.
It's about actively using AI to promote social good.
Right.
And address some of the most pressing problems facing humanity.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways in which AI could be used to address social problems.
Let's do it.
And to improve the lives of people around the world.
One of the most promising areas is in healthcare.
Healthcare.
AI is already being used to diagnose diseases, develop new treatments, and personalize patient care.
So we're talking about things like AI-powered diagnostic tools that can detect cancer earlier, virtual assistants that can help patients manage chronic conditions, and even personalized medicine based on individual genetic profiles.
Exactly. AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, and improve the lives of millions of people.
It does
around the world.
And it's not just about physical health, right?
It's not.
AI can also be used to address mental health issues.
It can,
which are often stigmatized and underserved.
Absolutely. AI-powered chatbots and therapy apps are already being used to provide support and counseling to people struggling with anxiety, depression, and other mental health conditions.
That's really encouraging because access to mental health care is a major problem in many parts of the world.
It is.
And AI could potentially help to bridge that gap.
It could, and it's not just about providing treatment. It's about preventing mental health problems in the first place.
Right. Prevention's always better than cure.
It is.
Right.
AI can be used to identify people who are at risk for developing mental health issues.
Right.
And to connect them with resources and support.
We've been talking about how AI is already here and that whole like urgency of shaping its development for the benefit of, humanity.
Yeah.
It's daunting, but hearing you say that it's not some like far off sci-fi scenario makes it feel a bit more, well, manageable. Like,
Right.
okay, this is happening now, so what can we actually do about it?
I think that's the right mindset to have, and it's helpful to remember that we've been dealing with these kinds of pivotal technological shifts throughout human history.
Right.
It's not the first time we've stood on the precipice of a new era.
Right. The invention of writing, the printing press,
Yeah.
the internet.
Uh-huh.
Each one of those was a game changer, and each one forced societies to grapple with new possibilities and unforeseen consequences.
Exactly. Each brought incredible opportunities.
Yeah.
But also required adjustments, new ways of thinking, even new institutions to manage the ripple effects.
Yeah.
The key is to learn from those past experiences, both the triumphs and the missteps.
Okay, so let's talk about those lessons. What are some things that worked well in the past, and what are some things that we should avoid repeating? What can we learn from history as we try to chart a wise course in the age of AI?
One of the most important lessons is the need for strong institutions and regulations to guide the development and use of powerful technologies. Mm-hmm. Think about the development of nuclear weapons.
Okay, nuclear weapons.
After the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world recognized the need for international cooperation and control.
Right.
Treaties were signed. Organizations like the International Atomic Energy Agency were established.
Right.
It wasn't perfect, but it created a framework for managing a technology with immense destructive potential.
So are you suggesting we need a similar global effort to regulate AI?
I think it's essential to think about AI not just as a national issue, but as a global. When AI doesn't respect borders, its impact, both positive and negative, will be felt worldwide. Right. We need international cooperation and collaboration to manage its development and to prevent a future where AI is used for destructive purposes.
That makes sense, but it's not just about preventing the worst case scenarios, right? It's also about proactively shaping the positive trajectory of AI development, ensuring that it's used to benefit all of humanity.
Yes.
Not just a select few.
Absolutely.
And this is where the role of democratic values becomes so crucial.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because earlier we discussed how AI could potentially undermine democracy by, concentrating power, by making it even harder to have those meaningful political conversations in a world, flooded with information.
Yeah.
So how do we leverage democratic principles to ensure that AI is used to strengthen and empower democratic societies?
One of the core principles of democracy is transparency.
Transparency, okay.
We need to ensure that AI systems are transparent.
Right.
And accountable citizens need to understand how they work, how they're being used to make decisions that impact their lives.
Right.
You can't just blindly trust the algorithms. We need to be able to see how they're making those decisions.
So no more black boxes.
No more black boxes.
We need to be able to lift the hood and see what's going on to understand the logic and the data that's driving those AI decisions.
Precisely, and this requires a real shift in mindset within the tech industry.
Okay.
A move away from secrecy and proprietary algorithms towards greater openness and a willingness to explain how these systems work.
But transparency is just the first step, right? Okay. We also need accountability.
We do.
If an AI system makes a mistake or causes harm, there needs to be a clear way to determine who is responsible and how they will be held accountable.
Absolutely. We need clear legal frameworks.
Okay.
And regulatory mechanisms for AI. We need to establish rules of the road, just as we have for other powerful technologies.
But it's not just about laws and regulations, right, it's also about cultivating a sense of responsibility and ethical awareness within the tech industry itself.
It is.
It's about the people building these systems, understanding the potential consequences of their work,
Yes,
and prioritizing ethical considerations from the outset.
I couldn't agree more. We need to move beyond that move fast and break things mentality that's been so prevalent in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
It's time to prioritize ethical thinking and responsible innovation.
So we're talking about things like ethics training for engineers.
Yes.
Creating ethical review boards for AI projects, maybe even a greater emphasis on social impact in tech education, really baking those ethical considerations into the very DNA of the tech industry.
All of those things, we need to ensure that the people building and deploying these AI systems are equipped to grapple with the complex ethical dilemmas that AI raises.
Right.
They need to be committed to using AI for good.
It sounds like a massive undertaking.
It is, yeah.
A real cultural shift within the tech industry.
It is.
But it's also an incredible opportunity, isn't it, to be part of creating a new ethical framework for this powerful technology.
Absolutely. It's a chance to shape the future of AI.
Right.
And to ensure that it reflects our values.
Yeah.
Not just as individuals, but as a democratic society.
So we've talked about transparency,
Yes.
accountability, and ethical awareness. Are there any other democratic principles that we can leverage to guide our approach to AI? Are there other ways to make sure it's used to empower, not to control?
One principle that's particularly relevant is the idea of citizen participation.
Citizen participation. Okay.
Democracy isn't just about casting a vote.
Right.
Every few years, it's about active participation in the decisions that shape our lives.
Right.
And this applies to AI as well.
So are we talking about involving everyday citizens in the development and deployment of AI systems?
Yes.
Giving them a seat at the table, so to speak, to voice their concerns, their hopes, and their vision for how AI should be used in their communities.
Basically, we need to explore mechanisms like citizen juries, public consultations, even participatory design processes to involve citizens in shaping how AI is used.
That's a really powerful idea because it shifts the power dynamic, right?
It does.
Instead of AI being something that's imposed on us from above by governments or corporations, it becomes something that we collectively shape and control.
Precisely, and that's essential if we want to ensure that AI is used to strengthen democracy, not to undermine it.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive. We've explored the history of information networks, the potential risks and benefits of AI, and some ways we might leverage democratic principles to guide its development and use its a lot to process.
It is.
But I think it highlights how crucial it is
to
be having these conversations now.
It's true. The choices we make today will have a profound impact on the future, not just of technology, but of humanity itself.
So to our listeners, I encourage you to keep learning about AI, engage in these conversations, ask tough questions, and be active participants in shaping the future of this incredibly powerful technology.
Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we create together. Let's work to ensure that AI is a force for good in the world.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of information networks.
You're welcome.
And AI, until next time, stay curious.
Stay curious.
Stay engaged.
Stay engaged.
And stay hopeful.
Stay hopeful.
Thank you for tuning in to the Power Book of Podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join our growing community. Click the bell icon so you never miss an update. We have so much more inspiring content coming your way.